Evening, folks. R1 here. I'd had a request not too long ago to show some footage of the new Marder that was introduced in the last patch. But I'll be honest with you, I've been having some difficulties doing that. It's a bit fragile. You'll see I just took damage from that tree, and this light tank destroyer is best used at range, and, well, while if you get the range right, it definitely hits hard. It took out that T-34 with no problem. But I've been having some difficulty with this light tank destroyer trying to get a good feel for it at long range. When I have hit, it has been extremely effective, but I've really been having a lot of trouble getting those long-range shots lined up properly lately. So I'm going to have to keep working on it. I do have a little bit of good footage for you, though. This little light tank destroyer has a number of good features. It's very fast, as you can see. For what it is, it'll scoot along pretty good, but it is so easily damaged. Hitting that tree did some damage, and I've killed myself hitting trees in it. I'm brought to a dead stop here for a moment hitting this concrete pillar, and it has so much bounce when you come to a halt that in close action like this is virtually suicidal. By the time I get my gun to bear, I've already been damaged and I can't fire, and the next shot takes me out. Usually, it only takes one shot to take you out. I'm kind of surprised it took him two to blow me up. That's not to say it's ineffective at close range if you can get in the right situation. Those don't come along every day. This is a match that has a couple of interesting points that I wanted to kind of spotlight. One of them does show some fairly good gameplay with the Marder and shows off some of its strengths. It shows off a big mistake that I make, which is always amusing. And a couple of interesting things about the Carpathian map in general, and the Heinkels 111 bombers in particular. Well, you'll see what I mean here in just a moment. Right now, one of the strengths of the Marder is coming into play. I've decided, as I often do, to go for the castle. It's a very popular spot to control on this map. This map has several issues. That's one of the features of this map that I mind the least. There are some other features of the map that I'm not fond of. The tendency to have one spawn point, to me, is not a feature. It's a flaw. It's something that they're playing with, I know, but it's so easy to get camped in your own base. I'm just not fond of that. And it gives you an overwhelming impetus to try and camp them in their spawn. And I'm not fond of that either. Well, that's just me. It's personally not one of my favorite maps. And the map had some other issues too. And I'll get into that in just a second. Not anything huge, but something that was particularly annoying to players like myself that enjoy flying the planes in ground forces combat in realistic mode. Well, right now I've utilized the excellent speed of this light tank destroyer to get into position very quickly and spot my first enemy target, and he has not spotted me yet, I don't believe. So I'm going to snap a quick shot into him, do some damage, but it wasn't a very good hit. I really couldn't see what I was shooting at well. I'm going to take another shot in his general direction in case I did manage to slow him down, but he's already gone. I'm going to have to move a little closer. There he is. He's moved on considerably, and he's behind cover now, which is not good. He can probably kill me in one hit if he gets a good, clean shot on me. I'll try a shot. The bounce gets me again. He returns fire, and fortunately, it glances off my very thin armor. Then he makes a mistake at this point and pulls forward again. I'm able to land a good shot, and the Marder takes him out with no trouble at all. I just had to get past the point where the gun is still bouncing. Now, I'm usually fairly decent at hitting on the bounce, as they say, but it's a bit extreme in the Marder. Its suspension is a little lacking for the weight of the gun that's on this beast, but it's just something you have to get used to. It'll get you killed as often as it'll get you a kill. Now, I see a couple of other targets here. My reinforcements, unfortunately, are pinned down by these two T-34s, and the first one goes down pretty easily. But still, any support that I would hope for is pinned down at the base of this hill, so I'm going to have to move forward. Now, watch the mini-map carefully as I move forward, and you'll see what I missed. This is my big mistake in this match. I move forward, I glance around. As I come toward the edge of this, you see the little red that showed up there just a second ago? I missed the fact that there's a KV-1 just to my right. I turned at just the wrong moment to not see him, and he was only visible on the mini-map for a second. I tried to snap off a quick shot here and kill this T-34 before I died. But again, the bounce got me, and I bounced my shot right over the top of it. And the KV-1 takes me out with no trouble. It was my mistake. If I hadn't made that mistake, I could very probably have killed that KV-1 before they knew I was there. But, well, who knows. So I'm going to do something I normally don't do on this map. I'm going to get in a bomber, the HE-111H6, which in my opinion has always been one of the weaker bombers because it lacks power. I've said it before, it's more of a controlled fall when you take it into combat. It doesn't have the power to lift you up over any significant obstacles at the end of your bombing run. And it had a lot of drift to it. It was difficult to get the bomb site where you needed it to be. It was so sluggish. So sluggish and underpowered, bad combination in ground forces combat. You kind of have to get low to the ground, and you just... it was very dangerous in this aircraft. But I had a theory. After this last patch, I was hoping that since they had adjusted some of the flight models and made a lot of these bombers more fragile in their maneuvers at higher speeds, it's very easy now to rip your wings off if you maneuver too sharply. Well, high speeds isn't exactly a problem with this bomber. So I had hopes that at its lower speed that it would be a little more survivable, that I wouldn't have to worry about ripping the rings off as much, and it seems to be correct. It's very stable. As a matter of fact, even more stable. It doesn't seem to be drifting as much, and I'm not going to have a problem with the wings ripping off when I have a full load of bombs. And look at the bomb sight. Previously on this match, the bomb sight would bounce all over the place. Now it's dead steady. I dropped my two 1,000-pound bombs on the KV-1 that killed me. I have no choice. Those two bombs drop together, unfortunately. I make a sharp turn, and I have power to do it with. I don't know if they've increased the lift or increased the engine power, but it helps. Anyway, all I have left is a 250 kilogram bomb. I meant kilograms, not pounds previously. And I able to take out the other fella that was down there, a little T-26. So, the Heinkels performed well. I didn't know what to think. It's never performed well before. Anyway, by the time I get over my shock that the plane actually performed as it always should have, and head back to base, the match ends. My team does very well. I think I actually ended up getting first in this match. Very brief, very to the point, nothing overly exciting in this one. I just mainly wanted to give you a glimpse of the Marder 3 in action and to let you know I am trying to get you some really good gameplay footage. It's not the fault of the Marder so much, although it does have some weaknesses. It's mostly been me trying to get my act together on firing at range with this little beast. To let you know that the Carpathian map has managed to solve its problem with the bombing reticle bouncing all over the place on the ground. That is so much a relief. And to let you know that, well, not all planes have turned into glass as far as the bombers are concerned. Some of them are actually better than they used to be. And the Heinkels 111, possibly one of the worst bombers in the game, for ground forces conflicts at least, appears to be better. I'm going to play both of these vehicles a bit more in the future, and we'll see if we can come up with something a little more exciting and a little lengthier, and see if my theories about these two vehicles prove to be true. I think now, once you get the hang of them, they may both be very worthwhile. I'm going to let you go for the moment. You have a good night, and until I see you again, good hunting.